Okay, good morning and welcome to the first session of the Laudato Si, Praise Be study. I believe this is being hosted by Jim and Evelyn, and Steve Harrington is our technical backup, but we've also had a lot of help from Cathy McGrane already. If you can see your screen, you should be able to see the chart which I created. This is, of course, my first attempt of charting for almost 10 years. Since the last time I did a charting session in Nepal to show them how it's done. So basically, this is not a written in stone chart. This is this is to help us get started chart. So as you look at the chart, just notice what words sort of jump out at you, and that there are 5 sections in the chart. And I would like to invite you to introduce yourself, say your name and where you are located, and maybe a word or a sentence either in the 16 paragraphs or on the chart that sort of jumped out at you or caught your attention. And the first person to my right or underneath me is Steve Harrington, and then Jim Wiegel, and then Karen Newkirk. So if you could go in that order and we could just keep going, that would be great. And I'm complete.
Well, it's Steve, and I'm continue to be struck by the phrase Laudato Si, praise be Lord. For a guy that's been studying Buddhism for about a dozen years, I'm just not used to this language, but it's a good language, and I'm grateful for having the opportunity to be in dialogue with the Pope. So thanks for that. Praise be. Next, please. Next person in line.
I believe that's Jim Wiegel. Thank you.
This is Jim Wiegel, and apparently all the pictures aren't in the same order. My name is Jim Wiegel anyway, and in paragraph 13, young people demand change. They wonder how anyone can claim to be building a better future without thinking of the environmental crisis and the sufferings of the excluded. And I am complete.
This is Karen Newkirk. I'm particularly drawn to the line, every living person on the planet. And I'm complete. Who's next in line?
I'm John Epps, located in Denver. The thing that struck me about this session was the saints named by the Pope, 3 of the popes, Pope John the 23rd, Pope John Paul II. They were saints. I was alive when those were there. I'm not alive when many saints are around. And I'm
Thank you. And then I believe Paul, Noah, or Wendell are up next.
Okay, this is Paul. I'm in Northfield, Minnesota. I read all this. I was struck by Patriarch Bartholomew. I don't know if he's a saint. I guess he's a saint. And that he was an ecumenical patriarch. That was a surprise to me to be a part of this study.
I'm Wendell Rapier in Boston. And on the first page in paragraph 2, I was struck by the earth, or she, groans in travail. Next, please.
Ellen Howie in Altamont, and on page 12, I'm in paragraph 16. I see the proposal of a new lifestyle. Now I'll mute again so I don't buzz.
This is Nadine Bell in Dallas, Texas, and the words "way of loving world" really struck a chord with me, and I'm complete.
This is Cathy McGrane. I honestly can't tell which order we're going in. I want to say two things, is that it's really, if you're going to talk about numbers, use the paragraph numbers, because there are different books that people purchase, and sometimes it's online. Pages don't really matter. So what struck me was in the second part, nothing in the world is indifferent, and I'm complete.
This is Dharma in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. I was struck by the first sentence on paragraph 9, where he talks about Bartholomew drew attention to the ethical and spiritual roots of environmental problems. And that theme seems to be very strong in the rest of the book. I am complete.
This is Jan McGuire. Am I being heard?
Yes.
Oh, good. I too was struck by nothing in the world is indifferent to us. It's so personal. Thank you. I'm complete.
Okay, I see Dick West and David Rebstock.
This is David Rebstock. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm in north of Baltimore, Maryland, and in the section 11, when he talks about Francis, he says, if we approach nature and the environment without openness to awe and wonder, if we no longer speak the language of eternity and beauty in our relationship with the world, our attitudes will be that of masters, consumers, ruthless exploiters, unable to set limits on their immediate needs. The thing that struck me was the next sentence where he said, by contrast, if we feel intimately united with all that exists, then sobriety and care will well up spontaneously. I'm finished.
Thank you. I believe Dick is speaking, but he's still on mute.
And now he's shaking his head, and he's still on mute.
I know.
Lower left on the screen.
Dick, this is Cathy McGrane. If you wave your cursor over the bottom part of this screen in the lower left-hand corner, will show up the microphone, and it'll have a line through it if you're muted, and it will be green if you're unmuted, or white, and it'll be green when you speak.
His he's still muted.
So Dick, this is one more thing. Maybe your headset has a mute on it. Sometimes we mute it right on the headset and then it doesn't work with any technology.
Oh, I hear.
This little piece on my headset has a button on it that I can mute my microphone with. So if you had a button on your headset that mutes it, it's better if you don't use it when there's a mute button on the technology that you're using.
But Dick has to detach his headset from the computer.
So
May
Dick,
not be speaking
can you
into the
shake
mic.
your Dick? Can you shake your head yes if you hear us? Just go yes if you hear. Okay. Now, when you have the headset on, can you hear us? Can you hear me speaking now, Dick? Shake your head yes if you can or no if you can't. Can you hear us speaking? I don't think you can. Okay,
Yeah,
so
he said yes, Kathy. Dick, do you have a microphone?
your computer you need to somehow tell your computer in the control panel under sound that you're using your headset and not the internal part of your computer for audio. And maybe this is kind of late into the session to be working with that, and I could work with you offline to help you with that.
This is Jim Wiegel. I just want to say I'm feeling really connected to Dick, and sobriety and care is welling up in me about his microphone.
Okay, so on my screen I have Karen Newkirk and then someone named Owner, who I think is Cathy, and then David Rebstock, then Jan McGuire. But I haven't, have we already heard other Cathy speak?
We haven't heard from Ellen Rebstock, who's listed as owner.
Oh, great. Okay. Ellen, could you share with us?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay, good. I just unmuted myself. I'm in Baltimore, or near there. And the line that struck me was the first sentence in paragraph 2. This sister now cries out to us because of the harm we have inflicted on her by our irresponsible use and abuse of the goods with which God has endowed her. That certainly makes it personal.
Indeed, it does. And actually, I was going to have us read the whole paragraph 2 aloud as a group, one line by line, and you've already gone ahead and shared that. So, as you heard paragraph 2 being read, or at least the lines from paragraph 2 being read, how did you feel as these sections were being read out loud or shared with us? The different points. How did you feel about the way that the address that comes when you read this section?
Excited, anticipating what's coming next.
Thank you.
Very strong statement and personal responsibility. I mean, it does evoke a sense of guilt, that's for sure.
Yes.
I really appreciate hearing everybody's choices. You know, I had my own, but it's good to hear the other choices too, and I'm complete.
Thank you.
Makes me think a lot about being a facilitator and the degree to which, as facilitators, we give ourselves over to doing whatever we can to help our client organizations do things better, faster, and cheaper. And I am complete. And my dog doesn't like that either.
Okay.
James, this is Steve. I didn't understand the point you were making. Could you just add a short
I think of
phrase?
all the times, I think of all the groups I've worked with in my life, and my focus has been helping them achieve their mission, whatever it might be. Very seldom have we approached anything beyond their mission as something that might be groaning. It's simply a field for us to take on. The dog's name is Tyson.
Yes, my take on what brought up what you said just now, that what's brought up for me is we're being invited to step into a very large arena where, you know, I wouldn't exactly say that we've been majoring in minor things, but with this perspective is quite a different thing to major in.
Let me note that in the chat box, Dick West wrote that in paragraph 8, he struck by the sentence, all of us need to repent.
Well, if you, one of the suggestions is that in order to dig deeper, that we try out sitting together in pairs to discuss a certain section. So there are 4 more sections, the titles of which are Nothing in the World, Then Nothing in the World is Indifferent to Us, United in Same Concern, Francis of Assisi, and My Appeal. So those are the other 4 sections. And what we need now is a way to go into separate rooms so that we can chat as a pair. And before you actually go to this technology of Zoom, going into a separate room and discussing something, there are basically 4 instructions. The 4 instructions are that first you start off by looking at the section and writing down for yourself what are the key points that is being made in this section. And then after you have written down for yourself and thought about this a while, then you share as a pair with your partner and discuss what you two have come up with, and then decide what are the key points together, and then what is your life experience in relationship to those points? In other words, when you read this, what are examples that you see this happening or going on? And then, what can I do about this situation that we are facing. And it might be something that you would do individually or with your family or your community or your organization. And so those are the 3 questions. What are the key points of that section? What are examples from life that either support this or negate these points? And what is it that I can do about this? And that's what you're talking about together as a part with your as pairs, and then decide how you want to report back to the whole group.
Evelyn, when you're ready, I have a procedural suggestion.
Okay, I'm ready. How do we actually break into teams of
Okay,
2?
so it's fallen to yours truly to allocate. I know how to do it the simple way. If you will tolerate my simple-mindedness here, what I'm going to do is use Zoom to pretty much arbitrarily group 13 people into 6 groups.
Okay.
And one of the things we need to agree with each other is how long we should do this, because I'm the guy that brings people back to the large group. So tell me how long you would like this activity to go on, and then I will be the timekeeper, and at the designated number of minutes, I will bring everybody back so that you can share with us, if you will.
I have down that we will take 1 minute of time to individually figure out our points, and then we will share for 4 minutes, and then we will decide what we're going to do or report back if in 1 minute. And so that means 6 minutes, and I give everybody at least a minute extra. So in about 7 or 8 minutes, everyone needs to come back.
Okay, well, I'm going to set the clock then for 8 minutes. And
Okay.
if things work correctly, in about 5 seconds, you will find yourself partnered up with somebody. And
Okay.
if you don't, you can have 8 minutes of silence, in which case, please return and share what it's 8 minutes of silence was like for you. So if you'll humor a new kid with the procedures a little bit here, I'll do my best to make it right. So on your mark, get set, off we go.
Evelyn maybe needs to stop sharing her screen now.
Good point.
How do I do that?
At the bottom, it says screen share, where I was telling you to run your cursor through there. Maybe you can't do that. Are you in full screen, Evelyn?
No.
Okay. If you're in full, okay, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see some arrows. There's 4 arrows pointing out. Click on that once and see what happens to your screen.
I don't have the. I don't have that screen up there.
It's because you're sharing.
Yeah, there's a green button at the bottom called Screen Share, and if you click that, you will stop screen sharing.
Do you see it?
No.
That's what I thought.
How do I get myself in one big screen?
Well, it says full screen or not. And so let's see.
Try
So,
escape.
yeah, oh, that's a great idea.
Control, let's see, under meeting in the top menu bar, there's a thing that says enter full screen.
I can't get the full screen activated.
Okay, under meeting, you can also get out of sharing your screen.
All I have is mute my audio and rename.
No, listen, at the very top of the screen of your whole computer,
Yes.
it should say zoom.us and then the word meeting.
Okay, I am approving Jim Wiegel to help me because I don't know how to get out.
That didn't work.
No? Okay.
Let's see if I have some controls to help her here. And Evelyn.
Evelyn, you don't have the menu items across the bottom of your screen.
You got
Can
more
you
than one
lift your
screen.
window up?
I'm only in thumbnail video.
I would actually suggest at this point that you leave the meeting and come back in.
Oh, how do I do that?
At the very top, it says quit Zoom. And then you will have to reinitiate Zoom contact with the link that I sent you.
There's also something on the right-hand side bottom which says leave meeting, if you have that.
No,
Oh, yes.
but I can just close my computer or do something.
Right.
You could quit your browser.
Yes.
I can click my browser.
Quit your browser.
Close your browser down.
Fire your browser.
Okay.
There's Steve.
Hello. Okay, so now we're going to do this business about a breakout session, right?
Yes, when Evelyn comes back, she may need to be put into a session, Steve. You'll have to handle that.
Yeah. Maybe I will just do that myself. With her.
So when this is Karen here, when we divide into groups, will we know which of the 16 we're focusing on? Sorry, can I just recap? We're on 16, the first 16 pages or the first 16
Paragraphs.
paragraphs?
First 16 paragraphs.
Okay.
All right, so should we try this? 8 minutes? Everybody game? Anybody not game?
How do we know what section we're in?
Choose one with your partner is what I would say. Just find a place to dig in and start digging.
Well,
Okay, Steve, let's go.
All right, here we go.
Hey, who is this?
Right now?